Get it? Because box also means vagina.
So much going on in that song.
Get it?
So I was very tempted to include Tim Minchin's "Thank You God," which has a lot of the same kind of themes of just kind of picking apart the rationalizations
Right.
of the church and just like very specific dogmas. His was much more about how wrong it is to think that if you pray right, God will favor you, because that just means you're an absolute narcissist.
Right.
I was very tempted to use that, but this is just funnier in the end.
No, this is funnier.
And
Yeah.
Tim Minchin's song is like 11 minutes with a whole.
No, when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, you know what? I get why you want to put that on here, and that it's very funny, but also maybe not.
Yeah.
Let's not have an 11 minutes.
It also would be like at risk of me tangenting for 30 minutes on why I loved every part of that song. So this one is much more like nothing needs said. They really do lay out their points. There's no ambiguity.
No.
And fuck me in the ass because I love Jesus.
Yeah, no. There's no double meaning.
Well, that's mine done.
That's quality. Yeah, I was saying, I quite like Garfunkel and Oates, and like every time I hear them, I'm very happy with everything I hear. We've watched a special or two of theirs, like, and yet at some point, all their stuff kind of blends together.
There is some real sameness.
Yeah.
They're really kind of locked into what they do and have not changed up their formula in any way.
Yeah, like pretty vocals with sometimes them talking really fast and then more pretty vocals and and it's all very funny and it's all I gotta say this though. In terms of it coming from a female perspective, I actually have quite a hard time getting behind female comedians because I don't know. The comedy feels really forced in a way. But I gotta say, they do comedy from a female perspective that I don't get irritated with. So, and that's saying something. It's pretty good. They find ways to talk about the stuff that typically irritates me when other female comics talk about. Well, and that's the thing, still make me laugh.
That stuff tends to be like a sameness problem too, I think. And I feel like a lot of the trouble that like male comics particularly will point out, like they don't like women comics for I mean, they tend to have a lot of bad reasons, but the one that kind of rings for me is they tend to talk about a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah,
and I think
all pretty similar.
It almost is like there's two categories that female comics like try to put themselves in, and it's either like here's the sisterhood quadrant where we all kind of talk about these things that we experience together, and here's the group that just have something that they actually want to say about their personal experience.
Yeah,
and it tends to be quite divided.
Yeah. I think that's a fair assessment.
Yeah. So there, I just mansplained women comedy.
I think because I think about this a lot. Like, why do I get irritated with female comics? And I think that's absolutely right. It's not that universal. It's not stuff that everybody can find.
Because male comics don't have any impetus to like share and bond over the same things.
Right.
They all feel like they have their freedom to talk about whatever they want. That's not necessarily true for female comics.
And I think that's it. I think you nailed the nail on the head there.
So all the male feminists that were just writing letters can back down, bro. We're gonna be all right.
All of the male feminists that we don't know.
That's all I ever get it from too. It's always other guys who are like, you're kind of on the line with that one, man.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Yep. I don't have that much more to say. I don't have anything more to say. Do you?
No. Should we kick off the last song?
Sure. This is my last song, and I don't have. Okay. This song has kind of followed me around my whole life. Mm-hmm. It's by like a very, very local band out of Ypsi, where I grew up. I grew up in Southeast Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Ypsi area. And I don't even remember how I found this or heard this. I think it was through theater, because I used to do junior theater and young people's theater, but don't even quote me on that. But they put out one album in 97 called It's Broasted.
Okay.
And this is the first song on the album. And honestly, I was shocked. I was like, you know what would be really fun to put on this list? Sophie's House by Cornish and a Turtleneck. There's no way it could possibly be on Spotify. And I looked and I was like,
yeah, you were
God!
shocked. That was a whole moment.
So surprised. And it's not just my favorite song by them, which is completely insane and weird, by the way. It's the whole album. Like, someone was like, you know what we need to do? We need to put It's Broasted on Spotify. And they did. And this is, anytime I'm like, I really want to weird someone out with my taste in music, or like really showcase like how like I can be into some extremely crappy indie stuff. This is always the song I pull out. Yeah. When someone's like, check out this weird song, I'm like, oh yeah, check out this weird song. It's very strange. This is Sophie's House by Cornish in a Turtleneck.
All right.